Welcome back to building our streaming music service. Last time we left off with media. We had just got things set up to where we could create media associated with an audio item and create a bumper. But what we had left undone was actually ingesting the media file to a directory where we can serve it from later. So let's work on that in this video. Okay, so we have the path here. We're also, I think, going to need an extension. And okay, so I think it's going to be, we want to copy this. And I think there's a file.cp function. There is. The source file, so that's at path, destination file. So that's going to be like that, and then what's this other? What is this callback? It invokes the callback, which should return true if the existing file should be overwritten. Okay, yeah, we don't want to overwrite the existing file. I'd rather fail, because we should be generating a unique name for this. So if there's a collision, something's gone wrong with the program. We shouldn't just quietly overwrite the file. So false. Okay, cool. We'll make that a function. Actually, maybe we should say new path. We'll pass in just the extension. So that function could look like be the name. I want to select that. I want to generate that randomly. We'll generate it randomly from these characters. So, yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, I think, and like that, and let's do 20 of those. And then there's, here I was playing with this earlier. Yeah, oh, right. list into a string. So I think that'll get us our name, and then path name dot extension. Name. You know, that's a base name. Yeah. And here, so this is, what was it? This one. The module environment. Get the environment for this module, I guess I'd say. And then, what is it? That's a keyword list. There's, I think there's something on keyword to, maybe it's fetch, bang. Yeah, that's what I want. Something like that. Is base path a good? Path. Local path. Let's go with base path. And could just do some string stuff to make that, but do I remember right? Yeah. Let's do it the right way. So this will be base, path, and name. Okay. Does that do it? Let's find out. Oh, right, because we changed that. Okay. Okay. So it's the path, the type. What was that? Audio MPEG? Yep. And the extension we'll use. Bingo. And so it did not get the configuration, so let's add that. So let's make that directory. Priv media. Do we want to put it priv static media? I think that'll work out better later. So let's do that way, and am I missing something else? I don't think so. I have to quit this because the configuration changed. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know what else we need is, okay. So that's all set. But the other thing here is we didn't put the name in. So we should also is that file name? File name? It really should be. It really should be the file name, right? Because if we move it later, we want to be able to migrate that and not have to like update the database. We don't want to store the whole path in the database. So let's refactor this a little. New path. Name. Oh, actually that's going to be this path. Join base path. Should we do, because we're going to need this for other things, name, file name, okay. Yeah, so what if we sub that in, whoa. Let's sub that in there. Let's generate the file name here. I guess we may as well. This really doesn't help anything to be split out now. Something like that might work better, and then we have that, right? Yeah, I think that's a better way to factor this, in part because it should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got this file name, and if we need to turn it back into a path again later, we can. See, it's generating a random name every time. That's great. I like it. Let's just make sure. Create bumper. We need test MP3. What do we give to create bumper? And attributes. Name, test, bumper. How'd that come out? That looks good. that looks good. See, I've got an IO inspect to clean up. Right here. I mean, it looks good to me. That all chains together. Cool. So that's ingesting the media. Let's commit that. That I know that's part of it. We'll add that in just a second. That's for sure part of it. Okay, so this we will we expose this outside of this module? I don't think so. If I'm wrong later, I'll take that off and document it. Yeah, that's just sitting there. Yeah, okay, so this is create media. Yep, and then this is create bumper. And with that in place, we should be in a great position to create song with given attributes and file path. Returns, okay, song or, yeah, oh, or error message or yeah. So that's going to be the same. Yep. Song, change set attributes. Let's just check that that's there and that it works that way. Change set, it expects the item. So let's simplify that down like we did with the bumper. No, let's not get wild. Besides, soon enough we'll be putting some validations on here probably. So that works that way. Insert it. I think that's it. All right. Create song. What were our arguments? Attributes and path, same as create bumper, but our attributes are different. We have a name. No, it's a title. We have an artist. And we have an URL. And then we have, great. I like it. So let's commit that then too. That. Create song. Okay, things are really happening now. What's going to be a good thing to do next? We could, let's see, we can put songs and bumpers in, especially manually now, like even without any UI, we can do it from the REPL. Maybe it's time to start working towards the front end. So, I mean, we'd have some music to listen to while we do the rest, right? Yeah, maybe it's time to start working toward the front end. Oh, you know what else we're gonna need for the front end though is backgrounds. And really, like, they're a pretty similar situation to songs. I think let's do that first while we're still got this all front of mind. Let's get the backgrounds built out a little, and then we'll start moving towards the front end for the media player, like a web app to play this stream, and something we can actually look at and see and use. So, all right, we're gonna need a new file. Backgrounds, EX. Yeah, and that's going to have functions like current play, and create background, I think is what's going to go into that. So, how do let's split this, duplicate tab and split out left. Cool. All right. And let's get this open, like it open over here. Okay, so let's well, yeah, get the most recently started background play, making a new one if the most recent doesn't have at least next threshold milliseconds remaining. Okay, yeah, that's the same. Returns play. Yep, I still like that. Still like that. Yep. Do. Let's think for a second. So backgrounds don't have a natural duration. We'll select one when we insert it into the play table. The background plays table. And so we won't have like a background item table, we'll just have backgrounds and plays. And so that's all actually a lot simpler. which is a good reason to have done the hard one first. Alright, let's not overburden ourselves with more than one function to dive in through. So let's get this working, and then we'll move on to the create background function and build out what we need for that. So we definitely need a play, we need repo. In fact, we may as well put that at the top. You always need that. And I guess that's that. Oh, hang on. Okay, just stub that out. And then we can start backgrounds. File, play, and this is gonna follow pretty closely, but not exactly. Oh, that was neat. So they could have been doing this that way. Good to know. I was wondering about that. So I don't know if I need any of that yet. Do I need to change that? We don't need it yet. What do we need so far is last. Most recently started play. Trans query. Do from, okay, so we don't need to preload the item. Yeah. Okay, good. We should define our schema. Background plays. We do need the started field. We'll have a duration field. Now, over here we had belongs to item, but this is gonna belong to a background. Background. So I have to build that out eventually. But that gets us last. What else are we missing? So we've got last, we need remaining. Populate. would consider factoring this function out. The other ones are either a little different, or I can picture them diverging as we refine this and build it out. So like, you know, like how we select a new background or song, like we could choose different ways to do those two things, or like a song and a bumper we may actually end up selecting between differently later. But for this remaining calculation, I don't see doing that differently on these two things. So I could see factoring together. I could see, you know, could you dream up a way to say like, oh, well, a background play and a song play are actually kind of the same, and so they should be in the same table? Yes, although a song has an intrinsic duration, whereas a background play can have a different duration each time. So anyway, I'm not going to try and tackle that right now, but something to think about when you're deciding how to factor things in or out, or where, you know, where something's going to be duplicated code. This is a very small amount of duplicated code compared to kind of the infrastructure I imagine to factor it out, so I'm just going to leave it alone for now. But if I discovered a bug in it, now I've got to fix it two places, right? So it's something to consider. I think the odds of an undiscovered bug in this code are small, though. By the time it moves live, I think we'll have detected any error in like how we calculate the remaining time, hopefully. Okay, so that's set, and of course, if we're going to make a new thing, we should make a new table. And let's get this up to refer to. Then we also had duration. And as I recall correctly, we eventually did an audio item ID references audio items. So let's, wow, this is a little tricky to, there we go. So let's just get that in right now. Background ID, references, backgrounds. Oh, well, we haven't added backgrounds yet, so let's do it all in one go. Why not? You only live once. Why drag it out? Why not? Drop it right in. Backgrounds. What goes into a background? A background is like a song, I think. So, I don't know, does it have a title? It has a name. It does have an artist, and it has an URL, so we can credit it. should that be title so we don't confuse ourselves later? Okay. I think that can be enough, and so we'll need to build out the schema for that too. That open, looks like a song. We will. Do we need? Yeah, we'll. We don't need next song yet, so we'll probably do that separately. So we really only need the schema. It does not belong to an item. It will it belongs to media. Yeah, I wonder. That's why we did that way. So, yeah. So this will belong to like this, right? Belongs to a media. And we may as well have may as well get that in here too. Get that reference to the media in here. Yeah. Okay, so that's there. The schema's built out. I think that's all we need for this to work here. That should work. And this should work. Yeah. So is this missing anything? It's missing something. Now, there. Okay, so, well, it compiles anyway. It should just return nil. Oh, okay, so we should actually run that migration. Okay, good, that runs. Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, not that, this one. So, oh, that might be, oh yeah, nil.start. So we got nil back. Oh, well, did I screw that up over on the audio play too? Yeah, I did. So if that comes back nil and we run remaining on it, it's going to crash. So we should have that. I mean, we could do a conditional over here to only run it if, but I'm fine with just saying, like, trying to add it to nil is nil. We could, yeah, could, right? Like, otherwise you gotta, is there a better way to write that to where we don't need that nil clause? We could do it as like a with. Right, like that. Build it like this, right? So that really doesn't even, we should just say, yeah, so we could, oh, we need another end. We could write it like that. That's pretty good, I think. If we do that, we can drop this. And then I guess if it's nil, that just falls through, I think. Let's check. Does not compile, that's a concern. Remaining last now. There we go, thank you. Okay, so that worked. So let's do something similar. Here. Cool, okay. So that doesn't crash now, so that's nice. Let's commit that fix real quick, huh? So that's just there. Handle case of no plays in audio current play. Okay. And this is kind of, we can commit some things here, so that, not that though. Background works. Background play works. Well, yeah, these are kind of tied together, and what we're missing still is part of this. Let's commit all of that at once, because it really all hangs together. None of it's handy without the rest, the way I've done it. Yeah, so back to here, let's build out this next play function. So this is simpler. We don't have the time for announcement. We need params. Yeah, and maybe I should have, because yeah, well, let's build this one right and then look back at the old one and see if we can improve it with better ideas. So we'll just do that, and then put change. So we want to set the duration. Yeah. We want to set the started to now. May as well reverse those. Conceptually, I like them that way better. And then, that shouldn't fail. We really need to put which background it is. Okay. So that's, I think that's the gist of this function. And so now we need to fill in some of these. So background is going to be repo.get. Background next. So we'll have to build out the next query. And duration. How do we want to do that? It should be random, but not too random. It should be like centered around some amount of time with some fuzz. I've prototyped this before and gotten feedback on it, so let me step away for a minute and look at my notes on that, and I'll come back with what we're going to do. I found it was between 5 minutes and 8 minutes with a uniform distribution between maybe a different type of distribution would be better, but that's what went okay in testing. So we need to make a random number, and I think you can do that with random, like we just did for right, so this is what so we use this to make that random file name. So normally you would use enum.random to randomly select an item from an enumerable. But this has the property that if you pass a range in, it won't traverse the range. So it's not wasteful to do that. So that's going to be a good option for us here. So what was it, 180,000 milliseconds, so that's 3 minutes, to 480,000 milliseconds, anything in there. Okay, so that'll get us our duration. We've got our background, we've got now. So that function should be built. We need to be able to select the next background. And for now, we'll use the same logic that we use for songs and bumpers, where we select randomly from the least recently played half of the available items. Play. Turns song. No, it doesn't. Turns a query. Okay. Next, do from S. It's not S, it's B for background. We don't need to join to items, but we will need to left join to the play. Oh, so there's really from items, so there's a has many plays. Okay, so that's good to know. Group by background ID. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. The order by is going to be the same, I think. Window, order by first max of p dot started, so that's the same, and we only want one. Okay. Alright, seems good. Let's see what I missed. I missed some syntax, 21. Oh, did I? That looks balanced. That's not. There we go. Oh, yeah. Earlier I was like, oh, we don't need that yet. We need it now. Okay. Yeah, we probably don't use options because we don't need to know on the audio plays, we look at whether we need to play an announcement or not, so we don't need that here. Oh, I didn't and change set. Play. Right, yeah, I never defined that, did I? So let's get that in here real quick. Expect there to be any permitted params, but we'll see. That was the other piece of the puzzle. Oh boy, there we go. Okay. Well, I sure missed something. Oh man, a little slow, aren't I? Man, this just gets increasingly gross. Is there a better way to structure this? Let me poke at it a little. I won't bore you with me sitting here staring. Well, let's try flipping it back how it was. disappointing as that may be, case one, no. If it comes back nil, then we need to make the next play. Man, I'm still not in love with that, huh? Man, it's just a little awkward. You're probably screaming at the screen right now, like, you know a good way to do it. And you're like, but do it like this. Put it down in the comments if I don't get it. I think it's such a disappointment, but is the best thing just like 2 nested ifs? Well, oh man. So bad. Hang on, I'll be back. I promise. I got it. This is probably what you were screaming at me to do. Okay, like, don't be afraid of a new statement, right? So last equals, it's like, let's just get the last one, and then if last is nil, or if right? That's the right way to do it, I think. Now, play dot remaining needs to change a little, right? So first of all, we can drop this virtual field. Play time. And that gets a little simpler. Great. So it's trying to get a background. We don't have a background. We don't have the thing to create a background yet. We could make one up by hand. So what would that look like? Background. Let's do change set. Oh, hang on. I don't think we need a change set. Dot cast. Limo. Dot backgrounds. Dot background. Parameters are going to be title, test, background, artist, test artist, and URL. Oh, yeah. Name, nope, title, artist, URL. Well, I should have used the change set function. Oh well, this is written. Cool. Okay, well now we have one. Still doesn't work. What? Where is this? Oh no! What? Microseconds. Wow. Where? Yeah. How is that different? Started now. Oh, wow. I bet that the cast fixes that, doesn't it? Sure. I guess it would, but... So what do they recommend? Truncate it to the second. Can we include milliseconds, or does it have to go to the second? Truncate now. Let's see if we can go to the millisecond. I mean, it kind of doesn't matter, but... Okay, so it needs to go to the second. Okay, so bear that in mind when we take that back to audio. So, okay, well I'll fix this up to work the same and see if there's anything else I need to tidy up. Otherwise, next video we'll take a look at creating backgrounds. We can follow along the same way we did that for bumpers and songs, with the exception that there's no background item, similar to what we saw this time. Yeah, so that'll be the next one. And then after that we should be ready to move towards the front end, I think. So that'll be fun. We'll turn this into a web app, and then we'll start making like some front end code, probably flip over to JavaScript once the web app infrastructure is there, and do some CSS to style up the front end, make it look cool, and have a good time with that. So as usual, if you notice anything I could have done better with the program, please let me know down in the comments, or if you have questions why I did do something a certain way, maybe we can learn something from each other. And if there's any feedback you can give me on how I'm doing the videos, I'd appreciate it. This one I increased the size of my text a little. Hopefully that makes it easier to read. If there's anything else I can do to make the videos a better experience, please let me know what it is. I'm eager to make them as good as I can. So until next time, take care. Welcome back. We've been building a streaming music service with Phoenix and Elixir. We just added Phoenix in the last video, and in this video I think we're going to start on the index page for the whole application, which will be a player that will show the background for our stream and play the audio for our stream. So let's see if I remember how to do this off the top of my head. I think let's see. Well, already in the documentation, so no, I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. But let's go into the router and we'll add a route. Now normally you'd have a pipeline as well, but we'll piece that in later as we need things, I think. So this is going to be for that. Now what should we call the controller? Naming things is always important, right? Well, it's really the player, so that's how I think of it anyway. So let's call it the player controller, and show is a good action. Okay, so that's set. Should say right. So that's going to be the actual name of the module. So now we should make that module. So let's make a folder for controllers in general. And I think that's how that's normally laid out. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Player controller. Okay, so let's make that module. And we'll follow along with this strategy that we used earlier. This is, I think, what the generator still does. Anyway, it's pretty conventional in the Phoenix community. Controller, I think, and let's see. Like talk here. Yeah. Yeah, when we were doing the view, they talked a little bit about what would normally go in that module that we would want to bring in here. I don't know, I'm sure we need to use Phoenix controller, right? That makes sense. What else we're gonna want? I don't know right off the top of my head, but maybe we can figure it out as we go along. Probably this guy here. Probably end up slapping my head over something I'm not thinking of that's real obvious, but if you're yelling at the screen, I can't hear you, you gotta yell louder. So I guess it's gonna be something like that. I'll be right back. I'll dig into it just a little and see if there's anything else we should really be putting in here. Okay, so I took a peek at another project I've been working on recently for a client, and reminded myself of some of the things I would normally put in here, and yeah, options. By default, it uses the base alias in your controller name. So I think they mean like the first part, and then that's going to inflect the layout view from that. I think that's fine. We don't need to set namespace. for this project. So I think we're going to want is an import enough, or do we need macros from that? Let's look at the documentation. I think, yeah, I think importing it's enough. We'll find out. And then the other thing I'd like to do is alias the router helpers like we did before for the view. It's handy to have those here too. And that's kind of conventional, I think, in the Phoenix world, is to always have your router helpers aliased as routes. You're always needing a path to something. Yeah. So we'll go with that. And our action was show, and I'm trying to remember what arguments that takes. I think it takes a con and params maybe, but let's check. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, so these are the, would you call that params? Yeah, they do here. So those will come from those are like the request parameters. So they could be path parameters, or they could be query parameters, or what have you. In this case we won't have any, but just put the underscore there. And the compiler knows we're not going to use it, but if we do need it, we can take that underscore off, and we've got it right handy, and we know what it would be if we were using it. So that's nice, you don't have to look it up later. Yeah, so what do we want to do? Really, I think we can get started. I think we'll just render the template, and I think and then I think that this template, an atom or a string, if an atom will render a template with the same format as the one returned by get format. Okay, so let's go with that. That's fine. And I don't think we need to set any assigns yet. We may eventually. Oh, there was something I noticed when I was looking here. Oh, this shouldn't be right here. This should be there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's the convention, is like this module is here, and then the ones that are like associated with it, that start with the same name, go under the directory there. So we'll get that in the right place. And I think we're set with the router. Let's make our first template then. And so that's, make a folder here for templates. And then I think what we need to do is make a subfolder for player, and then we'll make a file for show. Oops, it's supposed to be .eex. And I think that that's gonna so I think that this, in the controller, this render show is going to inflect a lo-fi limo web dot player view, and then it's going to go on to that and find a function to render show for HTML type in this case. And so to get this template to turn into that function, we also need to have a view called player view. And if we use phoenix.view, it should come over to this template directory, find any files that are in there, and build the functions from them. So it's kind of magical technology, but not so magical you can't understand what it's doing. So this is our player view, which we'll need to be able to do this render. And so that should be something like this, player view, and we've already got that set up. I don't think we need anything else in here right now. Our template's just going to be empty anyway, so it seems like we should have to set up a oh man, what's the word they use for it? So there's the view, like this player view, but I think what it wants to do is, at the web app level, there's like a enclosing view that it's going to want to render. And so I think it's going to catch on fire because we don't have that. Yeah. I didn't see it right there, did you? So maybe it's under guides, right? Views and templates. Layouts, that's what they call it, is a layout. And there's like a default layout. Now, what I don't recall is that named by convention, or is that a piece of configuration that we need to put somewhere? Let's see what happens if we just run this, and man, I wish I didn't have that warning coming up, but I think that's I don't think that's something that I can fix. We looked at that code in the last video, I think, and I think that's just missing some parentheses there. I don't know if that's a full-on bug in Phoenix, or if it's something to do with like interaction between the version of Elixir and the version of Phoenix I've got. But I don't like seeing warnings. Not in my own code, certainly. And that's not quite my own code, but it is kind of, so. Oh, right, let's reload. Okay, yeah. Right, oh wow, yeah. So we're going to need to put some things into our endpoint. Yeah, let's see now. Plugs. Is that... is it that? No. Well, I guess maybe it is. So plug parsers is going to load format or fetch format into con params? Huh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that's among its duties. Huh, that's interesting. Mine type strings that are allowed to pass through. So do you suppose that means the mine type of the request body? Well, let's go ahead and set it up. So I think it's just as simple as that. I don't really want to parse anything in particular right now. What do you think? Really just want to resolve that error. Well, that didn't work at all. Expects a set of parsers to be given. Alright. Well, we should at least parse Earl encoded, I guess, if we gotta parse something. Okay. Is that... See, that's what I thought, is I thought there was something else that was actually set in that. But it puts it on con params, so it does expect that to be loaded, so that implies that we would need to have parsers. Fine, I mean, it is kind of hard to imagine a web app that doesn't need to at least parse Earl encoded, but... Alright then, so I think the more appropriate place to set that is going to be over in our router and make a pipeline, right? Pipeline, what do we want to call that? Did they show an example here? So it's probably, yeah. Fetch session, no, we don't need that yet. In fact, we may never need that on the player. I'm not really interested in like creeping on people, you know? So we may not have any cause to use a cookie or anything here. In one of my prototypes, I was building the stream separately for each user, but here the way we're building it is one stream for everybody, which I think makes more sense for this type of service anyway. And so I don't need to distinguish between instances of the players, so I don't think we're going to need to creep on people at all. But so this is a pipeline for browser, but this won't necessarily be the same for every. This is for the player, really, and in particular, this is for the player browser. So we'll probably change that later, but let's not overcomplicate things for now. And we'll accept headers of HTML for now. Okay. Now let's see. Oh, right. So I made that, but that's not sufficient, which this was telling us right here. So we should put a scope so that we can do that. There. That's going to be better. Okay, cool. So layout view, it does expect a particular module name by convention, so that's great. That was what I was curious about. And so we should be done with the router and the endpoint. I thought that before, but let's make that layout view. Oops. New file, layout. Okay, and that's now. You know, I think there's a way. Did that? See, I don't think that recompiled anything. Right, it didn't. Now there should be a way to ask for that stuff to be recompiled. Who handles that? Is that... I think that's a Phoenix thing, isn't it? Let's look. Code reloader? That could be it. Plugin module to handle automatic code reloading. For each request, yes, that's what I want. So, okay, we're gonna have to update. I want to get this in here because we're starting to poke at views and stuff. And when I save that, I don't want to have to come hit recompile every time. I want to hit reload in the browser, have it recompile automatically. So that really shortens up the cycle time to like figure things out and fix them. So this is project configuration, and looks like we're just gonna put Phoenix into the list of compilers. This is a plug, and I thought you had to reloads code invoking the reloadable compilers. And a list of reloadable apps. Oh, okay. Reloadable apps defaults to nil. So do we really even need to set anything there? Or do the defaults work for us? Let's find out. Since we changed the project, we should probably, oops, didn't need another copy of that. We probably should restart. Okay, so that's good. We'll see if that actually works. So here under templates, we'll make a new folder for the layout view, and then in here we'll make a file. Apparently that's the default, and that's fine with me. I think we need to put something in here to you know, actually, do I even want a layout for the player? Because the player is really a unique page, right? There's really nothing I want to wrap around that's going to also wrap around some other page, I don't think. Is that true? Yeah. No, there's probably going to be something, because we'll have at least later on, not right away, but later on, there will be at least some more than just the player page where a listener would want to go. So yeah, no, scratch all that. I do want to have a layout for this, so let me look that up here. So, weren't we? Right, just recently. That's it, this inner content thing. It used to be something else, but I guess that was a long time ago now. For now, I guess no, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to build the whole thing in the player template, and then when it's time to add another page, that'll be a good time to see what do we want to factor out and what don't we, because right now I don't even know what the second page is going to be, much less what it's going to look like, and so to predict the future and know like what should go here, what should go there, I got no idea. I'm just going to put it all in one place, but we've got the infrastructure here to factor it out when we need to. So let's see if this code reloading works. It doesn't seem to me like it did. I think I guess maybe we should try putting this configuration on here, huh? Oh, it's on the endpoint. Compilers. I'm not using get text right now. I may later. Let's see if that helps the situation. To restart because we changed the configuration. And okay, so let's test if that actually did what we want. No. Oh, well, did it? Did it though? Because that's not, let's come over here. Yeah, that didn't recompile nothing. So we're still not quite there, are we? defaults to nil. In such case, default behavior is to reload your current project. Oh, this is a plug too. It's got to be in the plug pipeline to even catch, to know a request has come in. Let's take this back out. I'm not actually sure we need that, but we got to get this into the plug pipeline for it to work. So that's going to be under our endpoint configuration. And I guess we want that right up near the top. Let's see if it can be right at the top or if it needs to be under the parsers or what. I only have to, I want to actually, because I changed the config, so let's come right out. Okay, now, reload that. Okay, so that comes up. What if we change it like that? Great, so now it's recompiling, which is just right. Then the other thing I want to add is you can set it up so when you save a file like this template that it's going to force a reload over here. Oh yeah, for that we probably will actually have to update the layout a little because it needs there to be a closing body tag to inject the, I guess we could put that in here. The body tag's optional, so I don't normally bother with it, but the code reloader, not the code reloader, the, whoa, what do they call it? Runs the code reloader. Yeah, that's not what I was thinking of. There's a thing, kind of a goofy way to look for it, but I kind of recall that's not super readable. That must not be where I want to look for that. Assets? Yay. That looks better. Oh wow, is that actually under Phoenix HTML? It doesn't look like it. Well, there is something here. No, that's not it either. Wow, so where... no, it's not here. There's a way to do it. Let me go find out and I'll let you know what it is.